Hi there, my name is Amanda, and I'm going to talk to you about parenting. Sure, I may look young, but I have experience, because I've had parents for a while now, and I've learned a thing or two. So here are a few insider tips just for you, Mom and Dad. This first tip is very important. You ready? Here it is. Be clear with your kids about what you expect from them. Like, you hear all the time parents telling kids to be good, or act your age, or behave. But what does that even mean? Your kids won't know what it means unless you tell them. One time, when I was little, my mom took me and my sister to the mall. She told us to be good. Well, there was hardly anybody shopping that day, so me and my sister decided to race each other to the toy store. We always race each other in the park near our house, so we didn't know there was anything wrong with racing in the mall. Boy, did we get into trouble. When you tell kids what you expect from them, keep it simple and be specific. Say things like, walk when you're indoors, throw the ball outside, and you can play with your building blocks on the floor. That really helps us to understand exactly what you mean. So like last night, our cat Figaro jumped on the dinner table. My little sister thought it was funny and started petting him. But my mom said in a nice calm voice that the table is for food and the cat belongs on the floor. I thought she handled that very well, with no yelling or anything. I like it when my mom gives me a reason to go along with what she wants me to do. Like when I was little, she'd say, I want you to be safe crossing the street, so I expect you to hold my hand. Did you notice how all the things I've been talking about are pretty positive? I love it when my mom or dad notices when I do something good. Yesterday, my dad said, I like the way you hung up your jacket. And he also thanked me for taking my plate to the sink after dinner. The idea is to catch your kids being good. One time, when we were going out, my little sister couldn't get her shoes on, so I sat down on the floor to help her. My mom said it was kind of me to do that. It made me feel really good, and it makes me want to find other ways to help. But then, when we do something wrong, there needs to be consequences. Some behaviors lead to natural consequences, like if I break a toy, then I don't have that toy to play with anymore. If a kid takes too long to eat his dinner, then his food gets cold. Natural consequences are great ways for kids to learn, but sometimes the consequence may be too dangerous, like if a kid tries to cross the street by himself or plays with a sharp knife. As a parent, you're going to have to come up with consequences that help your kid learn. But remember, spanking your kid or yelling at him are not good options. It makes a kid feel terrible. Did you ever get spanked or yelled at by an adult when you were a kid? Remember how that made you feel? The consequence of a kid's misbehavior should fit the crime. So like if she's throwing rocks at her friend, then she can't play outside anymore for the day. If he's scribbling in a storybook, then the book should be put out of reach and you could give him something to color on, like a coloring page or a piece of blank paper. Kids can see when you're tired or busy or stressed out. And you know what? That's usually the time we try to get away with stuff. One time, when my mom was on the phone, me and my little sister decided to play with my mom's makeup. We looked beautiful, but we made a big mess. Of course, when my mom got off the phone and saw what we did, she made us clean it up. She also made us clean the whole rest of the bathroom. We'll never do that again. And do you want to know a secret? I'll tell you. Parents should say what they mean and mean what they say. Mom and Dad, if you don't follow through on consequences all the time, then your kid will test your limits. He'll see what he can get away with. And consistency is important in other ways too. Parents and caregivers should be consistent about what's good behavior and what's not. If mom says something is wrong, grandma should too. If you want your kid to listen the first time you say something, then you have to follow through with consequences all the time and right away. Kids need to know exactly where you stand and exactly what the consequence is for. If you end up telling your kid like 10 times to be quiet, by the 10th time you're probably pretty mad. And if you're angry, you may do or say something you'll regret later. So only say it once, then act on the consequence. Well, that's it. I hope some of these tips help you as you try to be the best parent you can be for your kids. Believe me, your kids will appreciate it.